Slaptail Squad, assemble.
If you're listening to this, you remember the great Slaptail Nation, my nation. And who am I? I'm the Beaveman, master of the universe, creator of all things great and small, and Lord High Commander of the great Slaptail Nation army. And with me today, here not so live in the Beaver Den, but all the way in Fresno, California, the monotone with the microphone, the trailer park monster, the godfather of Thin Mints and proponent for child labor, the Dark Lord of Browntown himself. I give you J.D. Hutchins of the Slaptail Squad.
Finally, the prodigal son has returned.
He has returned. He has returneth. Excellent. So good to see you, J.D.
Good to see you live and in color.
Thank you. Because I'm brown. That's what he meant. Brown color.
That's exactly what I meant.
Of the Brown Nation. Thank you. Thank you very much. Also with us today, all the way from not that far down the road. Actually, don't know where you are, Ricker.
East side of the state.
Don't speak until you're spoken to. It was a rhetorical question. Actually, it wasn't. It was just a comment. All the way from the east side of the state of Michigan, near the thumb, if you know, you know. My good buddy, all the way from back in the day, when he had hair and I had more hair. Truth. What are you trying to do there, JD? Yeah, the thumb. He's near the thumb. He said east side of the state. That doesn't necessarily mean the thumb. Maybe he's by the metatarsal phalangeal joint. Yes?
Detroit.
No, maybe the web. He's near the web. Oh, he's in the D. He's in the D. You could have just said you were in the D.
Yeah, I know where you'd have gone with that.
No. My good buddy, the Ricker. Welcome, Ricker. Welcome.
Hello.
How's things?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How was driving in the snow today?
It was the same as always, crappy.
Crappy.
Ask me how driving in the snow was.
How was driving in the snow out in Fresno?
I have no idea.
Your snow is different. Yours is cocaine.
That's right.
Cocaine-ish.
So you drive with the snow in you instead of driving in the snow.
Snowblind, sir.
How many ladies of the night / day / afternoon / morning hit on you today on your way to work? Or you weren't on the way to work, right? When you went to get the children?
Hit on me? None.
None of them said, hey, $5 or nothing like that?
I saw a lot of them dropping their kids off, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You gotta be proud of mom. You gotta be proud of mom getting out there working hard. Working it hard.
Gotta provide.
You got to. You absolutely have to. Gotta have a future for your children.
Matter of fact, I'm wearing my Motel Drive shirt right now.
I can't see underneath your titties. What does that say? Oh, there we go. Fresno. It says Fresno. Heated pools, free hand jobs, free burials, Wi-Fi in all room. Does that say free burial?
Yeah.
Okay.
People are dying to stay here.
Excellent. Oh, it's Burial 13 apparel.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Shout out to them.
You know, there's a really cool shirt that I really want that's Burial 13, but I really only want it so I can jerk off to it.
Is it the titty shirt?
It's the one with the nun.
Is it the titty shirt?
Yeah, the titty shirt. That's a good looking one.
It's a classic.
Why do we want to see nuns dressed hot? Why do we want to see hot nuns getting converted, doing bad things?
Because we're blasphemous.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, why is it if a chick is dressed as a demon and you put her next to a chick who's dressed as an angel? Oh, let me rephrase that. Let me ask it as a question. Which would you prefer? Let's go up to Hollywood Squares, up to the Ricker. Which would you prefer? A hot chick dressed as a demon or the hot chick's twin dressed as an angel?
Is both an option?
No. You get one.
Lame. Going demon.
Going demon? Excellent. JD, I think it goes without saying. I'm sure I know your answer. Well, actually, maybe I don't. Maybe you're feeling that if you go with the angel, then it's your own secret victory. Let's find out, though.
I think you're right. I think for me it'd be the angel, because then it's like I'm corrupting the light, which you know I'm all about.
Same reason I'm attracted to Amish girls.
Smoking doinks in the Amish.
I got to go with the demon. I think that was obvious because I like the dark girls. I don't like girls who pretend to be dark that aren't.
Same.
I use my hand. I feel like there was a bait and switch for me with the Swan because she used to wear dark eyeliner, so I was like, oh, maybe she's gothy. She is not.
Too late to get your money back now.
Can't get her to wear a corset. You know.
You thought you were getting a goth and you got Sporty Spice.
I did. I got Sporty
Damn.
Spice, who's good at every sport known to man and better than everyone at it except for ball sports.
And makes you to run on purpose.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. I thought it would be fun to, since none of us here are trained in these ways of psychiatry, to talk about delusional disorders.
Oh boy.
Do you guys know what delusional disorders are? Do you know what delusions are?
People living in their own world.
Sure.
Not aware of the reality that surrounds them.
Yeah. Delusions. Like, what's a good delusion for me? No, I pretty much hate myself. I can't think of anything that I'm delusional about.
The biggest example I can think of is our sitting president, Cheeto in charge, thinking that he's a great leader.
What? Or about all the people who believe that he's a great leader, they're also delusional?
Yes,
Yes.
his
No
minions.
way. No.
The delusional army.
Yeah. Thankfully, they're not. Thankfully, they're not. They want to be, but they can't be because they suck. I thought I would read you. So you guys know about shared delusional disorders?
Like Folie Deux,
Yeah.
only because of film and media.
Okay.
Never any real life examples.
What about you, Ricker?
Not a clue.
Folie à deux. So folie à deux is a term that means a shared delusional disorder. The deux part meaning two. If it's folie à trois, it's three. Folie à familial, it's. Of course, I don't speak French. Maybe if I said it this way, was there folie à famille? It means that your entire family.
I know more about
Folie à
mass
pet?
hysteria events,
Yeah, where they were like the dancing one.
the dancing plague,
Yeah, that was cool.
or like
That was cool. A lot of people danced to death.
certain flaps of paranormal activity, since that's my realm of interest. And mass hysteria type panics, or like the Orson Welles thing where he read
Yeah.
Yeah.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds.
War of Worlds over the air, and people went out and shot water towers because they thought it was realistic.
Well, people killed themselves too. Supposedly.
Dove out of buildings.
Yeah. We don't know. I don't know if that's true or if that was actually just shit that they made up. I don't know if that's actually
It
true.
just sounds like damn good writing to me.
They made us read that in school.
We never did War of the Worlds, but we did The Time Traveler.
I don't know that one. What's the time travel? Is it about traveling through time?
It's the one that they briefly mention in that movie Ransom, where there's like those people living underground,
Mole people?
and they every now and then they reach up and pick off one of the above grounders, and no one really knows what's going on, and it's like they travel. Basically, what happens? They travel too far into the future, and it's like super dystopian and awful.
Like now?
And they kind of get, yeah, pretty much.
It's super dystopian. They have an idiot
And they
in
kind of
charge.
get stuck there.
Food costs too much. The world's on fire. Random floods occur because some idiot opens up the water mains. Yeah.
Sounds like some great fiction.
Yeah, doesn't it? Sounds totally unrealistic. Nothing like that would happen now. I was
Yeah,
thinking
absolutely.
about, there's just people, I think that there are people who are really susceptible to delusions, if you will. That's why I could never be a psychiatric provider, because sometimes people will tell me stories and I like conspiracies and I like off the wall shit. So when people tell me stuff, I'm like, yeah, that could happen. I can see where that would happen.
You just feed the delusion.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from. Been there.
Seems reasonable. This person told me once, they're like, they were like super paranoid. This was like 20 years ago. They're like, they were super paranoid. And I was like, well, what are you paranoid about? They're like, I'm pretty sure that the people above me are monitoring my every move. They're like observing me. They're watching me. They've probably got my, wiretaps on my phone, listening in my conversations. And so she was like scared to leave the house. And she tried to tell people, like try to tell the police and everything. Nobody believes her. Nobody buys it. So she's telling me about it. And she's like, I think it's the CIA or the FBI or some black ops organization. So she's telling me about it. And I'm like, you should tell me more. I am now fascinated. So she's telling me all these things. And I'm like, well, what evidence do you have? What exactly is going on? Well, she basically just said that she kept seeing like the same things, same cars, same people. I'm like, well, they probably just live there, that sort of thing.
Those are called neighbors.
Yeah, they're called neighbors, exactly. But here's the thing.
The greatest evil of all.
Here's
neighbors.
the thing. She lived alone, but was hearing people upstairs.
Oh, that's a problem.
No, I'm just kidding. I made that up.
Damn it.
Damn it. And that's where the homeless guy
Now
was.
I'm intrigued.
Now that's where the homeless guy was. And so, of course, I'm like asking her all these questions. So I saw her more than once and I was like, tell me more. And so after a while, I started to believe it. I'm like, maybe she's right. What do I know? I was in the military. I think if you're in the military and you don't believe in like black ops, weird ass shit, what branch were you in that you don't think weird shit happens? Because weird shit does happen. I mean, there's weird things that people do and there's weird operations that you do. So you're like, okay, I get it. And so I was fully invested. I'm like, you know what? I believe this lady. And I'm the only one who believes this lady. And later on, I come to find out she was being watched.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't remember. But she was actually correct that it was either she was being watched or there were people that were like in her apartment building that were doing surveillance on like a site or something like that. So she was correct. There actually were people who were doing some sort of operation. I don't know if it was, I'm assuming it was like the cops that were like staking something out, but.
I'd like to see her Google search history.
I don't think she was searching
they?
Google much. She was like, it was like in her 60s, late 60s. And this was a while back, so, almost 20 years ago, probably.
Maybe she's a Project MK Ultra
Could be,
survivor that they were keeping tabs on.
Yeah. She was making her own little bombs out of wood. Could be. I feel like she had like I feel like she was talking to me about aluminum foil too. Like she had an aluminum foil hat. I'm probably making a lot of this shit up in my head now.
So you say aluminum foil, my mind automatically jumps to Ron's.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah. In his basement.
Smelling up the place.
Plastering foil on the windows.
Stinking up the place. Yeah, I could see that. Just constantly farting it up. Ugh. Yeah.
It's a dry environment.
Eating Dinty Moore beef stew right out of the can. Doesn't even cook it. Plastic spoon.
Pouring Knuflik sauce into his can.
Exactly. Dumping Spam right out of the can. But he doesn't get the name brand Spam. He gets the generic Spam and it just goes when it falls out of the can.
Oh. The gelatinous homunculus that is Spam.
Mm-hmm. And he's just sitting there in a dirty robe with no shirt on and wearing like a thong. And just rubs
the mental picture is 100% believable.
It just rubs the gel on his nipples.
And every time he hears my name on the internet, he says, "Do I know you?"
No, every time, yeah. Or he's like, "When's Woody coming back?" He did 2 shows, 2 episodes. My God.
Yeah, it's not like I was there all the time.
Oh,
He just liked the way I ragged on him.
Anyway, I think I'm very susceptible. I like a good story. I do. Another one was like this person was telling me about. This was a long time ago too. I was working and the patient came up to me and they're like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" I was like, "Of course." Do you think it's possible to have sex with a ghost? And I was like, "How are they looking? I mean, what do they look like? I mean, is this a good looking ghost? Is this an ugly ghost?" I'm like, "I'm not about to hump an ugly ghost." I was like, but no, I was like, I kept it cool. I was like, tell me more. I think I've been having sex with a ghost. I'm like, okay, what proof do you have? I mean, because if you're just straight up orgasming, good for you. If you're walking down the hallway and you keep feeling something getting jammed in your asshole, probably not great. Not so lucky. Yeah.
Not so lucky.
If someone's pushing a turd, back in, that's not great. But if you're like straight up gushing all the time, not bad. Not bad. I'm like, but can you actually see this person? No. Okay. Well, I mean, But then, of course, my mind is like, well, was it enjoyable? Do you enjoy it? If so, then what's the harm? Do you consent to this ghost? That's what's important.
Did you initiate it? That's what's important.
And if you did, how does one do that?
Right. And I'm asking for a friend.
And if you do, is that, if they're dead, is that cheating? Because I feel like,
If
feel
they
like
don't
it's not.
If they don't appear in physical form, it can't be, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. I think if the classic line of American cinema, known as Scary Movie, taught us anything, it's that fucking ghosts is definitely possible.
Because that's where your reference point comes from.
Some people use scientific journals. Some people use the Bible. We're going to go with quotations from a not even blockbuster movie. That's fine.
But I feel like that's a one of those news stories that pops up like every couple of years in like The Sun or like on Daily Motion, like, oh, man falls in love with ghost, or
It's true.
women visited by ghosts nightly, or one of those types of deals.
I do believe I had a ghost's baby once.
I named it Casper.
Nice.
He's very
You know,
friendly.
The tabloids aren't as spicy as they used to be when I was a kid growing up in the 90s, because now
yeah.
most of the shit they put in there is like actually plausible, because
Right.
we live in the wacko clown universe.
Yeah.
So it's like not as quite as fun as it used to be.
No,
when
it's definitely
like
not. The stories aren't cool.
half-ass real.
Yeah, they're just not fun.
Yeah, in the 80s and 90s, I forgot I had groceries while I stood in line.
It was so awesome. Remember
Right.
Bat Boy? Little Bat Boy, and oh, I had Bat Boy's child.
Bat Boy made the cover quite a few times.
Yeah.
Bad Boy had a whole series, I believe.
I think there's Bat Boy porn.
That's a classic photo, though.
Yeah.
The little baby with the
Cool ears.
peaked up elf ears.
Yeah.
Yep, we all pictured the same thing when you said it.
Oh yeah. You can still find that they still have a website still. I can't remember which magazine he was always in. And they still have goofy stories on there.
Was it the Inquirer?
No, it was oh god, what was it? Hold on. Please hold. Bat Boy, because you can still find him.
That's one of my favorite moments from the Men in Black movies, is when they go to the tabloids to search up what cases they're going to pursue.
Yeah, the hot
Right.
sheets. Got the hot sheets.
I feel like if there is a Men in Black in reality out there, it's like something similar. It's something hidden right in front of us.
Yeah, what was it called? Oh, Weekly World News.
Yes.
Weekly World News. It's still a thing. I might have to subscribe, you guys. It's still goofy as fuck.
It still exists.
Yeah.
Is it in digital form now, like most publications?
I don't know if you can get it in paper, but if you can. Free subscription, y'all. Weekly, it's a newsletter
man.
now. Weekly World Newsletter.
Nice.
I might have to do it. Cause yeah, you go to the grocery store and be like, hey, let's find something funny to talk about. And there's nothing. It's all just lame
No.
shit. You gotta have something fun.
Or it's shit that just happened.
Yeah, who cares?
That actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah, we want stuff that's not believable, but possible. That's what I want. Anyway, I thought I would read you guys a couple of highly unusual cases of folie à deux. Here's the thing is, the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, doesn't have folie à deux in it. So I don't know if there's a newer version that does. The only thing it has is delusional disorder. When you have to figure
What
out
was that title that you just made up?
the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders.
Sure, that's a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real thing. Occasionally, I do say stuff that is actually true. I try not to do it often, but it does.
That sounds like governmental alphabet soup to me.
I'd read it and come down with half of them.
Maybe a long
That's
read,
what-
man. There's
it's
a lot. There's a lot there.
It's like WebMD on steroids.
Right.
I was writing a joke about that, about how. Here's a funny thing that people do, and I'll make it into a joke, but people actually tell me this. I'll say, okay, all right, well, this is what your diagnosis is. This is how I would treat it. We'll use something really simple like flu, influenza. So we're going to treat that with Tamiflu or Oseltamivir. It's an antiviral medication. You take it twice a day for 5 days. And I'm not kidding you. People will say this to me. Well, my wife took that and she got really sick. I'm like, well, I don't think we're going to have a problem because you're not blood related, right? I mean, like, seriously, the reaction that your wife had probably won't happen to you because you don't share genetic code, right? Or do you? Because if you do,
I was about to ask.
problem.
Especially if she took it and didn't have the flu.
Yeah.
Because that's where I thought you were going with that originally.
No.
Right.
Well, people do that too. Yeah, people do that too.
My wife took my medicine and she got really sick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you know what really, speaking of which, what used to happen when back in the era was really funny is occasionally you would get old people that would come in and they'd be like really weak and like almost passing out. You couldn't figure out what was wrong with them. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this person? And then you'd find out that they were like making whoopee with their significant other, and their significant other had a nitro patch, and it would transfer to them. And it would like drop their blood pressure and make them feel like shit because they didn't need nitro. And you find out like a nitro patch on me. Oh shit. Or like a catapress patch or shit like that. You're like, God, patches are dangerous. Or fentanyl patch, whatever. You're like,
man,
it just sticks right on. You're like, you always have to be careful with these patches, people.
Yeah, my dad had a morphine patch and mowed the lawn and almost died.
Yeah. He had died happy.
Yeah.
Like,
he said as soon as he started sweating, he got stoned out of his. That's a true story. I didn't make that up.
No, I totally believe you. I totally believe because people would do that. Or like you'd get people, and God bless them, they would come in and they're like, same thing. You would actually get in the habit because you learn it from the other nurses and the techs and stuff. You're like, always check the old people when they come in, check their skin because you never know. Or you'll get in there and they'll have like 4 nitro patches on because they didn't take their other ones off. And there's still some medicine in there. So like they never said, they'll look at the directions. They're like, the directions never said to take the patch off. It said just to replace patch every 3 days. Well, replace means take the old one off and put a new one on.
I'm pretty sure my dad used to smoke with the nicotine patch on, but that's fairly common.
That is common. People chew in their nicotine patch. Get the most out of it.
Nicotine, my old friend.
If it wasn't for straight black coffee and Marlboro cigarettes, my dad would never eat.
Speaking of which, I've had to be I'm supposed to have surgery this week, and I have to drink a gallon of water every day.
A gallon?
They're finally taking that stick out of your ass.
They are. Well, no, they're just going around it. I insist that it stays in. If they pull it out, would you like my personality more? No.
Probably not.
I would be.
We don't know. We've never seen it without.
I would be less angry. And then what's the benefit of that?
Well, we definitely couldn't do this podcast anymore. That's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I depend on you to go as dark as possible at all times.
Yeah. What do we want me to be? Happy-go-lucky?
Unless we have a personality swap and then Swan becomes the dark one. And
Swan is pretty fucking dark, actually.
You become the Manic Minute.
Yeah. I don't think I can do that. Speaking of which, we have a Manic Minute actually recorded just for you,
Oh,
JD.
yes. Sweet.
We could actually do that now, and then we could get to the rest of the... I could read you some examples of Folie à Deux and Folie à Trois. Folie à Pet is cute. Yeah.
Folie à Pet?
Folie à Pet. Yeah.
As in 5? Like...
No, that would be Ped.
Oh.
Or Pent. Pent?
What is Folie à Pet?
Like with your pet.
Oh, I see.
It's like a shared delusional disorder with your dog.
Pet is not a French word. It's
I fear I struggle with this.
You're going to struggle with it? Okay. Because it's French? You guys struggle because it's French?
No, because me and my dog share delusions, and I don't want you to make fun of me.
Well, good. Then we'll get to that. That's material then. All right. Well, then let's do Swan's Manic Minute. Okay. So here is the part of the show where we all get a taste of Swan's psychosis. I give you Swan's Manic Minute.
One of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. mercy on your soul.
Yoga pants. I don't really know about yoga pants. I like yoga pants. I wear the yoga pants. Sometimes I like them. I wear them as pajamas, but sometimes people shouldn't wear yoga pants. I don't like yoga pants when they're see-through. That's not really good. I don't know why they make them where they're so stretched out or see-through, but their material sucks because they made with cheap stuff. But anyway, I like yoga pants. I like the slippery kind because they feel good and they're comfy and they're stretchy and they shouldn't be clothes. They're not clothes. Don't wear them as clothes. You should wear something that covers your butt if you're wearing yoga pants because I don't know. I don't like to see everybody's butt, but apparently that's what people like to wear about them. And you should probably wear not flip-flops when you wear yoga pants. Don't wear flip-flops in yoga pants. They don't go together very well because I don't like that. You should wear shoes. You could wear boots with the fur. You should wear tennis shoes. You can wear anything but flip-flops. No flip-flops and yoga pants. They don't go together at all because they're ugly. I don't like to see people's toes. Apparently, I don't like to see people's toes either. So I like the cropped yoga pants. Those are nice. I like the yoga pants that have pockets in them that you can put your cell phone in. That's nice. I do not like yoga pants that have buttons. That's not good. Zippers, not good on yoga pants. They always are in.
Okay. Totally insane. I feel like she should have said, I do not like them, Sam, I am.
I feel like we should do a yoga pants count. I bet it was well over 60.
Well, that's kind of the point. It is manic. If she doesn't say it several times, there'd be something seriously wrong.
It gave me straight anxiety, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's yeah. Imagine living with that.
She just wakes up in the morning. I hate cereal. You know why I hate cereal?
Because sometimes it's soggy. If you leave it too long, it gets soggy. If you don't leave it too long, it's too hard. And I don't like it if it's too hard, and I definitely don't like it if it's too wet. Yeah, that's what it's like. And everybody's like, why are you such an asshole? Well, because there's never any silence in my home.
I'm gonna shoot you another topic that I was thinking about that I want to hear Swan's take on.
Oh,
too.
good. Well, don't spoil it
this time.
Yes, don't spoil it and tell her what it is. It's much better. I will say, if she doesn't.
I have to agree with her on the flip flop thing. I hate seeing people's feet and toes.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're not at the beach or at the pool, there's no need for flip flops.
I definitely don't want to see men's feet whatsoever.
Absolutely.
There are some women who I do not mind seeing their feet.
That's okay too, but I'd rather just do without it.
Got it. Word to your mother.
Preach.
Let me read you some cute little Folie Deux, if I may. Shared delusional disorders. Actually, some of them are kind of creepy as fuck. We'll start with the cute one. This one is Folie Deux with a pet. For those of you just joining us, Folie Deux is a shared delusional disorder. In other words, somebody's freaking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and they have passed that on to somebody else, and they share that delusion between them. This one's cute, which I think is ridiculous. It's clearly not Folie Deux with a pet, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Volume 149 of the American Journal of Psychiatry recounts a case of Folie Deux shared between an 83-year-old widow and her pet dog, Scarfy. That's really not his name, but I thought it was cute.
Scarfy.
The woman had come to the conclusion that her upstairs neighbor was moving furniture around to deliberately annoy her. This progressed to believing that he was trying to force her to flee her home. She believed that he was attacking her and her pet with violet rays, so she made the dog an air raid shelter under the kitchen table. And whenever there was a noise coming from above, the dog would run and hide in its spot. Now, whether this was actual Folie Deux or whether the dog was just doing what its owner wanted is questionable. But whatever the dog's real motivation was, it was participating in the delusion. I think that's just a dog being a good dog.
Here's my question. What year was this, and did she live downstairs at Parkview Apartments in Fresno, California? Because that sounds like something that we would have done as an upstairs neighbor while I was in high school.
Oh, did you have an 83-year-old downstairs neighbor?
It seems like that's all we had.
Oh, okay.
That's a guarantee in Fresno, California.
I didn't know they lived that long in Fresno. In Fresno? Apparently they do. Well, that's fucked up. You were just fucked with your 83-year-old neighbor all the time. That's bad.
Oh, we fucked with everyone. It didn't matter what your age was.
I still think this is just being a pet. The pet is not... Well, okay. You can't say that because pets respond to what we do. Like if you're anxious... Like I say this about Sammy, right? If you're upset, Sammy comes over and hangs out with you. If you're happy, Sammy comes over and hangs out with you. If you're scared, Sammy comes over and hangs out with you. If you have food, obviously she's going to come hang out with you. That's just being a pet. And so if she originally told the dog to go underneath the table or into the shelter, it's going to do that anyway because Dogs are people pleasers.
Right. That's what I was going to say. They're eager to please.
So what have you done to your dog then, Ricker, that is making that dog delusional or anxious?
Nothing.
He lies. He's immediately like, I have done nothing to said dog.
What'd you
Matter of
hear?
fact, I do not even have a dog. This is pure speculation on your part.
I have no dogs.
There is no dogs in my
I mean, I have a dog that has anxiety already. I do add to it.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Poor dog.
Because he has 15,000 names and he doesn't know which one to answer to.
Why is that?
I have no idea.
What do you mean? Whose fault is that?
It's mine.
Why don't you just call your dog one name?
I take the anxious riddled dog named Bruno and call him Brutalito Moquito Burrito Bochito Smith.
One, that's
Oh, now you're judging me.
Yeah, because that's cultural appropriation, motherfucker. You can't just
brown.
you can't call your dog some Chicano
He's
name
probably-
like that.
He's probably browner than you are, Beaveman.
That's a bullshit lie right there.
He's grayer.
Mm,
And his last name's Smith, so it's not racist.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
No, but I do the whole talking for the dog thing.
Okay.
And I believe they understand every damn thing I'm saying.
Yeah, I think so. We do that. We do that. We'll answer questions as Sammy.
Right.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
I'm not saying that
It's perfectly normal.
Bruno's got an accent when he
Are you
answers
saying
me.
it's not? Wait a minute. Are you saying that's not? Are you being
No,
sarcastic?
I'm saying I do that as well, so I get it.
Okay. All right. Do you do a voice when you do it?
I don't wish to disclose that at this time.
Yes, you do. You do.
Bruno
your
sounds
own-
like Tommy Chong.
That's fucked up. That's what your dog sounds like.
You stole my pot, man.
Okay.
His name's Ralph, man.
Dave's not here, man. Dave's not here, man. Okay.
I mean, if
Moving on to we're gonna make this incrementally worse, I think, for the Folie.
As we always do.
Yeah, let's do that. So that one was kind of cute. Let's do another one that's not so bad. Not so bad. Let's see here. Okay, this one's not so bad. This one is a Folie à Trois. 3 sisters from South Carolina. Go figure. Sometimes Folie à Deux, Trois, or Famille is used as a legal defense to help diminish the capacity of the defendants in the eyes of the court. In the case of 3 biological sisters from South Carolina, the diagnosis of Folie à Trois led to successful insanity defenses in their respective trials for various criminal wrongdoings. The lives of 3 sisters became increasingly enmeshed as adults, even though they led ordinary, respectable lives before spending all their time with only each other. They became increasingly concerned that their mother, who also suffered from mental illness, was going to hurt the 3 children of one of the sisters. They also became preoccupied with religion. Oh, there you go. The sisters stopped sleeping and became convinced that God was communicating with them. When the husband of one put a stop to them living in the same house, the women felt compelled to put on pajamas, take the 3 children, and drive to a house that they believed God had given them so that they could live together. They forced their way in, attacking the residents of the house and the attending police officers. The sisters were charged with multiple offenses, put in a cell together. There, they took off all their clothes, refused to clean themselves, shat in their own palms, rubbed them on their faces, in the walls. No, they didn't do that. I mean, they might have. And performed religious rituals. They attacked anyone who came through the door of the cell. It took 2 hours for 15 officers to quiet the 3 sisters and cuff them. None of the sisters had a previous criminal record. They are no longer allowed to live near each other or visit without supervision. Shared delusion.
So let's start with the lack of sleep and go from there.
Lack
If you're
of
refusing
sleep?
to sleep, you're going to have delusions.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
Maybe they all had UTIs at the same time. That'll make it crazy.
Wait.
Tick bites on the taint.
Wait, let's do a test.
Saw it on House once.
Okay.
Beaveman.
Yeah, oh.
Longest you went without sleep, Beaveman?
I think 4 days.
4 days.
Yeah, about 4 days.
Do you start seeing things in your periphery vision at that point? And hearing sounds that aren't there?
You definitely get very giggly and goofy. Especially if you haven't eaten also, or you've barely eaten that whole time. But yeah, you don't really seem to know what's going on too much. It's like you're walking through fog always.
Was this in combat or out?
It was in the military. Yeah.
Ricker, you?
Oh, probably no more than 24 hours. I was driving though,
Nice.
and I started to see shadows in the fog, like people walking across a highway.
Slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
So
That's super comforting.
my longest streak was 2 days. And this was during a time where I was playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was seeing characters from the game in like real life
Nice.
as I was driving around. So yeah, that was fun.
It would have been really funny if the characters in the game that you were playing would be talking to you. They're like, JD, why don't you do something with your life? Get off the couch and stop playing Grand Theft Auto. Get some sleep, you fucking moron.
Yeah, that would have probably helped, but
Yeah.
nah. I just saw him, and then I was really convinced by the end of those 2 days that I could probably steal a car and get away with it. But
Yeah.
I'm glad we
Jumping out of
didn't,
his car and beating up women. Thinking
Yeah,
they were
I know.
hookers.
It's like,
That's right. If Grand Theft Auto taught me anything, it's always get your money back.
yeah.
Right.
I will say this, when you can't, I wouldn't say we were up 4 straight days, but your naps are like really quick and you get really good at napping when someone tells you to sleep. Like you could have somebody literally say, Beaveman, go to sleep for 10 minutes, man. I got you. And you would fall asleep for 10 minutes and they'd wake you up 10 minutes later. And you just do that. Like, cause you could just fall asleep on command. You're like, okay, because you don't know when you're going to sleep again. You just immediately go to sleep.
I'm pretty good at falling asleep on command too, thanks to my thyroid issues.
Thyroid issues. His thyroid.
I'm good at not sleeping.
I'm great at sleeping. I'm just not good at feeling rested after I've slept. I think that's why most people in the military, at least the combat like branches, I think all have sleep disorders. Because you sleep every chance you get. If there's an opportunity to sleep, you sleep. Because you don't know
So
when you're
what
going to
is-
sleep again.
What is the correlation of being younger and being able to stay up for hours on end? Is there like a...
Somebody told you you had to?
Well, no, I'm
You
just
have
saying
to?
in general, like, I remember
Hey,
like
Sarge,
going...
I really need to get my 8 hours. That's not how this works. I see.
No, I'm just saying when I was younger, we stayed up for days on end just because we
Oh,
could.
sure. Yeah.
And now, like, if I wanted to, I probably couldn't even make 24 hours.
Oh God, I wouldn't want to. Like some of the stuff we do, and I always say that it's not the time that I spend doing things. It's that next morning where I'm like, fuck. But really, I could wake up at any time and be like, fuck, because my body just always wants to sleep. That's what the problem with having a sleep disorder is. In my case, it just always wants to sleep. I'm never like awake. I never wake up and go, God damn, I feel awesome. That never happens.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the mics I go to, open mics to get, reps in cities where I want to go, like Grand Rapids, start at 9 or 9:30. And I'm like, fuck, I'm old. I don't feel, I'm like, but I just love to sleep. I'm just like, I just want to be asleep. And of course, when I get there, I'm having fun and everything and I don't want to leave, but I'm like, fuck, I got to drive an hour back. And then I got to get up in the morning to go to work. So it does
You
suck.
want to go to Grand Rapids?
Yeah, I love Grand Rapids. My boys in Grand Rapids. There's great comedy. There's great places to do comedy. There's great comedians in Grand Rapids. It's a fun place to go do comedy. Yeah, I like Grand Rapids. Shout out to Grand Rapids.
I feel like that would be me saying, like, I want to go to Bakersfield.
I feel like Bakersfield feels that way about Fresno.
Oh, Bakersfield hates Fresno. That's no doubt.
Everybody hates Fresno. No offense,
Well, yeah.
Fresno listeners.
We kind
I
of make
love
it
you.
easy.
I like you guys. I can't wait to go there and have someone break my car window.
It's like, I took Christy to go see Dusty Slay on Valentine's Day. Our first stand-up comedy experience live.
Did he kill?
And he probably spent, like, the first 20 minutes just capping on Fresno.
That's a great idea.
You go to
I was
Fresno
like-
and pick on Fresno.
Yes, this is great. Because everything he said was true and fucking hilarious, so, like, it's one of those things, like, where, damn, he's talking about us, but he's not wrong.
Yeah. But at the same time,
So-
you got to protect your
Came from a
folks, though,
place of
man.
love, and that's important.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was
that-
totally like, this is
I
the
think
greatest
his-
thing ever.
his opener, he came in and was like, "Oh yeah, we came in early this morning." He's like, "We thought we had a sold out show." He just started looking around like, "There's people sleeping out front," and then he realized like, "Oh, those are just homeless individuals camping out." He's like, "We're gonna probably remove them with a broom later."
I feel like his delivery was probably better.
Oh yeah, I'm not good at retelling jokes, but
JD's not a comedian. Cut him some slack, people. Stop being so critical. Stop being so critical. Oh, that was me being critical. I'm sorry.
And then his other joke was like, "Yeah, at least your homeless here are nice." He's like, "I had a guy come up to me, had both his hands on his belt with no shirt on, and said, 'Would you like me to kick your ass?' And he's all, I thought it was nice that he gave me the offer and asked."
I think our homeless are pretty nice in Kalamazoo. Like we were out trying to find a friend of ours that was missing. And so me and my friend Joe were like, we went all over Kalamazoo talking to homeless people trying to find the guy. And they were all very helpful. Nobody asked me for money. There was only one guy that was not helpful, and was like talking to me while he was eating and like spittling food. I mean, I was about to jack him in the fucking face. And I was like, no, calm down. But other than that, everybody was super helpful. Nobody offered to blow me, though. I was kind of mad about that.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
I know. I'm like, what am I not bringing to the table? Whatever.
I can't walk down to the end of the row of the trailer park without someone asking me for money, so.
Yeah.
But you know how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. Next one. I'm going to get darker now. Let us move on to the darkness. These are some ones that you probably have heard of, JD. I'm pretty sure I've heard of this one. Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb.
Those names actually sound familiar.
Yeah, they do.
In 1924, America was horrified by the Folie duo of Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb, two heartless teenage boys. Leopold and Loeb were lovers. That sounds romantic. With Loeb being...
Not 1924, it wasn't.
Exactly. With Loeb being dominant personality of the pair. In fact, his dominance over Leopold, who came to share Loeb's delusional way of thinking, led to what is known as folie imposée, in which a dominant person's delusions are taken on by his submissive partner. Leopold...
That sounds like every serial killer duo that's ever existed.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have the guy who's like, hey, Spike.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's your sidekick.
Every George needs his Lenny, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, poor Lenny. Anyway, Leopold was a genius with an IQ higher than that of Einstein. As an academic prodigy, an all-around unpleasant person, and an outsider who thought that he was superior to others, Leopold believed that his inherent qualities exempted him from social rules that governed all other people. Oh, sounds like Elon Musk.
Oh, wait. Is that... Are those the two guys that Pinky and the Brain is based off of?
Yeah, right. It could be.
I'm pretty sure
Sounds right.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure I read a thing one time that was like the dark history between these WB characters, and it was something similar to like.
Oh, dope! Is that true? Is that real?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna have to look that up if that's true.
Yeah.
Hey, Loeb, what we gonna do today?
Same thing we do every day, Brain.
Leopold. Same thing we do every day, Leopold.
Try to take over the world.
Try to butt fuck somebody with a 2x4.
And there we go.
And Loeb was also a brilliant scholar and the youngest person of his time to have, of course, attained a degree at the University of Michigan. It always happens in Michigan. Whatever Leopold lacked in attractiveness, grace, and popularity, he found in his new love, Loeb. They had a secret relationship because, homosexuality was frowned upon at the time. The pair became obsessed with reading detective fiction, I see no problem with that, and true crime. And they embarked on their own crime spree together under Loeb's instructions. They set fires and broke into buildings, playing a game that committed them to have sex after each crime. Then they lured 14-year-old Bobby Franks to their rented car and bludgeoned and suffocated the terrified boy to death. Leopold and Loeb staged a fake kidnapping of the child and tried to cover their tracks, but soon their perfect crime was solved, and they were in court, smiling and laughing and performing like celebrities at a red carpet event. Loeb was killed in prison, as of course he should have been. As he died, he was held in the arms of his lover and soulmate, Leopold. Oh, how romantic.
So what you're saying is when that kid met those two, he was left breathless.
Where's my drum? Hold on. Hold on. Let's try it again. Yeah. What are you saying? No.
So what you're saying is when that kid met those two, he was left breathless. Heyo.
Heyo. Okay. Again, is that a shared delusional disorder, or are they just two sickos? How's that a shared delusional
Sound like your
disorder?
everyday true crime fans to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see the delusion. They just
Yeah, what's
did
a
what
shared?
they did.
Well, you have to remember this is not a scientific journal I'm reading. I don't consider that a shared delusional disorder. In my opinion, here's a shared delusional disorder. I suspect that Swan is trying to poison me. Okay, so there's three of us living in the house. Let's say it's me, Baby Swan, and Swan. And I suspect that Swan is poisoning me. And I tell Baby Swan, I think your mom is poisoning me. And she might be poisoning you too. And because I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and because let's say Baby Swan's like, let's say she's 12, and she sees that I'm truly upset by this, she starts to believe that her mom is trying to poison me. That is a shared delusional disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who inherently has a mental disorder or behavioral health disorder, me, has this problem. And because I truly believe it, I have convinced my child that that's probable. And so she believes it. That would be a shared delusional disorder. What we just talked about Leopold and Lobos, they're just two sick fucks who wanted to go and like do things because they're clearly sociopaths.
Agreed.
Yeah, it sounds like
They were.
you laid it out in the first part. Highly manipulative individual meets low intelligent individual, and it's not ever good.
Well, actually, he was just slightly lower. They're both super intelligent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Must have missed that part.
Yeah. It's just the one was like way super intelligent. You know what I mean?
Mega mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a pinky in the brain situation. Getting darker.
Darker. Yes.
Yes. Let the darkness surround us.
Bring me some real delusion.
Okay, here we go. This one might be a real delusion. This one, I think I heard about. Where's the one that I heard about? No, not that one.
So would the in the case of the Gypsy Rose thing, would that be like a Folie Deux type situation?
And the Gypsy Rose thing, that is a case of Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Right.
Mm.
And where Gypsy Rose is like, fuck you, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore, basically.
But at one point she did think she was actually sick, right? Because she was too young to realize, like, oh, you're probably full of shit.
Yeah, in the beginning, she actually believed she had all this stuff going on.
Yeah, well, that's because their mom probably also had Munchausen syndrome. So therefore, Munchausen syndrome by proxy is when you put it on somebody else. Mm. And then, yeah, if you convince them, then of course she's going to have Munchausen syndrome where she's probably just going to be a, what do you call it? Hypochondriac. So in that instance, I don't think her mom had delusions. She wanted to be, that's the thing with Munchausen syndrome. They want to be sick, or they want the attention of medical people. They want attention of people who are, otherwise they wouldn't get the attention of them unless they had this problem. That's what they believe.
So there's no actual delusion of disorder. They just want that.
Correct. They make stuff up so that they can be seen by medical people and insert themselves into a medical community by going there, being seen all the time, etc., blah, blah, blah. And then when they can't do it themselves, then they pass it off onto somebody else. And of course, when you're young and impressionable like that, of course that child would think that there's actually something wrong with them until they figure out, hey, there's nothing fucking wrong with me. This person's a psycho.
Okay.
But again, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but that's how I perceive it. Totally different, because a delusional disorder is somebody actually has to have that delusion first. You have to be delusional in some way. You have to believe something that is not probable. The other thing is well, it's not that it's not probable. It's more like it is possible, but it's not bloody likely. Does that make sense? In other words, it's not something so off the wall like, my roommate is Bigfoot, and every weekend he and I jump on a UFO and we go to Andromeda. Something that somebody could easily disprove by just watching you for a week and go, You never left. I saw you. And they're like, oh, I didn't. So that is a true delusion.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something that you would look with Folie à Deux. Folie à Deux would be something that could be possible, as in something, so they would still be able to go about their normal life, and it doesn't seem to affect them in some crazy way like somebody who's schizophrenic does. Whereas somebody who's schizophrenic, when they're really having a tough time, you know they're having a tough time. Like if you know you're their provider, because they can even tell you too. Because you ask me, like, it just does seem like you're seeing stuff that people aren't seeing. You think, are you hearing voices, all these other things, and they can tell you. It's very obvious. Whereas these people might be able to, do their job, do all these other things, and have no problems. But they've got this crazy idea that is possible, but just not bloody likely. That's my take on it. Again, don't ever listen to anything I say. There are people watching. You should comment and say something about how cool we are. Anyway, moving on. Let's get darker, shall we?
Yeah.
Darkness. Okay, this one's good. Pauline Parker and Juliet Hume. I feel like I've heard of this one too. Pauline Parker and Juliet Hume were 15-year-old schoolgirls from Christchurch, New Zealand. Passionately close, they were obsessed with each other. They lived out elaborate fantasies, and together they dreamed of becoming Hollywood actresses and novelists. You live in New Zealand. Why do you think you're going to go to Hollywood? Anyway. Their parents became worried about their codependent relationship and wanted to separate them, especially after Pauline's psychiatrist told her parents that she was having a sexual relationship with Juliet. However, that claim has been denied by Juliet in more recent years. When the marriage of Juliet's parents disintegrated, the girls were set to be separated. Juliet was to leave New Zealand with her father. Both girls wanted Pauline to move with Juliet, but all the parents refused. In 1954, Pauline's mother, Honora, took the two girls to an outing, and the girls brutally murdered her. The legal plea of insanity did not hold up. After only a few years in prison, the women assumed different identities and both moved to the UK, although not together. The woman who was Juliet Hume became the successful crime author Anne Perry, while the former Pauline Parker became equestrian teacher Hilary Nathan. The 1994 movie Heavenly Creatures is based on the girls' relationship and the murder of Honora Reaper. Anne Perry has claimed that the movie is nothing more than fiction. She also suggested that she took part in the murder so that Pauline Parker would not kill herself if they were separated. I see no delusion.
No delusion.
No delusion. We say nay on delusion. What would you...
Honora Reaper is a badass name, but...
She did, but she did.
I don't see any delusion.
No.
Sounds like a band name. Black metal.
Reaper? I don't even know her.
It sounds strikingly similar to the that case, the Slender Man case.
Yes.
The two teenage girls lured their friend out into the woods.
But see, that one makes sense.
That is a shared delusion.
That is a shared delusion. Because if they believe Slender Man is real, there is a delusion there. Whereas these other ones are like, you're just a fucktard and you just killed that person for no reason.
Those little girls absolutely believed in the Slender Man. That was...
Mm-hmm. So that would be a true case of Folie à Deux.
Yeah, and I mean, watching the story, they had me believing there was something.
Right. Yeah, they did a good job building that. If it's the same documentary I'm thinking of, the way they built it,
yeah,
it was really enthralling.
You believe in the Slender Man?
No, I don't. But the way they build that documentary up and the types of videos and evidence they show, it really has you thinking like, oh, I could see how these girls, being a young, impressionable age, bought that hook, line, and sinker because a lot of it was, they made it look extremely realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way it was presented by the people who created it, being a creepypasta, they never gave in to the fact that it was completely made up or fictional in any way.
Right.
So,
or is it?
Yeah, it actually made me research the whole ordeal, like the whole idea of Slender Man a little bit. It was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Beaveman, there's a thing that we always talk about where some people say it could be an egregore or a thought form or a tulpa type situation where it didn't necessarily exist to begin with, but since so much energy and power has been put into it, it may now be something out there.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I feel like, though, I'd break that bastard. That'd be so easy. beat your skinny ass up. Don't fear no Slender Man. Bring it, bitch.
I'll tell you one thing: the Slender Man case never made me look at morph suits the same way again.
What's a morph suit?
You know those suits that performers wear, and like sometimes they wear them to do like green screen work.
Yeah.
Those bright green like unitards that cover their entire face and body.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are morph suits.
Ah, like Charlie wears on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, exactly. The Green Man.
Green Man. Green Man.
Yeah. They make different colors of them, and the white morph suit looks a lot like Slenderman.
Oh,
I've seen a lot of cool like Halloween costumes and stuff executed
interesting.
using the white morph suit.
Yeah, I think I do believe in that whole thought form thing, though.
I mean, if the Tibetan monks say it's a thing, who are we to question thousands of years of ancient wisdom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's
smarter than we are.
several accounts of being able to think things into happening or want something to happen so bad that it happens. The concept.
I wish that was true. I'd have a three. I'd have the good threesome tulpa. Just keep
There's
thinking.
a lot
It
of
just
that
never happens.
There's a lot of that in like self-help guru, type stuff nowadays.
For
too.
threesomes?
Like, no, for
nice.
like
It's like, what book is this? Let me get it.
Manifesting.
Manifesting things.
That's
that
the
you
word I
want
was
to
looking
achieve.
for.
Manifesting let me take a note. Manifesting a threesome.
I was having brain fog and could not come up with the word manifesting, so I was trying to make a description of it. It was an epic fail.
Failure.
Beaveman, your problem is I don't think you have enough power behind your tulpa there. You're going to have to petition the listeners to help you create your thought
Jesus,
form.
man, do you want something he's thinking about to come to life? What is wrong with you?
All kinds of terrible things that I think of.
That's a good point.
That's like the tamest thing that I could possibly think of right there. I had such a disturbing dream the other night, and I woke up refreshed, and I'm not refreshed, I'm tired, but I was like, that's a good dream. It's a good dream. And some of this stuff, I just dream so dark. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I mean, because I'll ask people, I'm like, do you dream about like, people breaking into your house and you pull your gun out to defend yourself, but you go to pull the trigger and it's like extremely hard to pull the trigger, so you like can't pull it, and so you end up just like bludgeoning to the death with like the end of your pistol. They're like, no, okay, me either. I don't have dreams like that.
Is that a dream or a fantasy of yours, Beaveman?
It always happens that way. Like, I've got the gun, it's loaded, I'm good to go, but instead of being like a 7-pound or 12-pound or whatever, it's like it literally, you can't pull the trigger. And I'm like, what is the deal? So I'm like, well,
Buck fever with a pistol.
guess I'm just using the other end.
See, I don't dream often, but when I do, I dream of weird shit like me being able to fly if I kick my legs back and forth in the air hard enough.
Bingo.
Or like the dream of falling and like suddenly waking up right before you hit the ground, or just weird things.
You know what happens to me when I dream about flying? This is completely ridiculous. I can do it, but sometimes it's like I lack the power to do it properly, so I can only fly like 2 feet off the ground. And I'm like, come on, let's get some fucking altitude. It's so ridiculous. It's like I'm like, God, I'm a loser in my dreams too. Everything fucking goes wrong. I'm like, I always win. It's not like I die and like stuff. I'm like,
This guy's like Schleprock from the old.
I'm like the worst I'm like the worst superhero. I'm like, I can fly, but it's only like 2 feet off the ground. It's terrible. Yeah. I have super strength, but it's only when I'm constipated. Something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
I haven't shit for 5 weeks, but I can lift this boulder. But really, I'd really just like to shit, honestly.
Hey, the trade-off is important, though.
Yeah. I'd trade it all to be able to have a massive Duke right now. That's all I'm saying.
It's about balance.
Right.
I'm off to save the city, but I'm cramping. Oh, I'm holding up a building. I'm just like, oh, God, please. Is this fiber ever going to work for me?
We need to invent this character. This would be amazing.
Oh, you know what other dream that I have?
Constipato.
I have this dream I have this dream all the time. It's terrible. Where, you know how some urinals are they're just not designed properly, and you go to pee in them and you still get splashback from them? You know how some of them they're just not built right.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
like they did it on purpose.
It is. Like, so I always have these dreams very frequently where I go to pee and everybody's like peeing into the urinal from like 5 feet away because nobody wants to get splashed. So they're just like, but it makes it worse for everybody else because then there's just piss everywhere. And you're like, this is not helping. This is not a solution to the problem.
You just reminded me of something that happened a couple days last Friday.
Oh, jeez.
We were on a job site and they had a urinal and it's freaking 0 out. And I'm pissing in the urinal and I realized that the steam coming out is made of piss. And now I'm ducking.
He's like,
my own piss steam.
he's huffing.
Now I can't get it out of my head. I literally had a piss facial.
Well, I do believe he's got the vapors.
I went through a whole thing. I couldn't even stand it. I had to get out of there.
It was like a bunch of precipitate on your face.
Right. Because
What's your stance on piss troughs, Beaveman?
Does it have ice or not?
You tell me.
Sure. I guess the trough. I think the trough might be better than urinal at times because they're usually like pretty deep. There's not a lot of splashback in a trough, but I have seen metal troughs, and those do not work well.
No,
there's definitely
that's not
splashback.
sanitary at all.
Definitely splashback on the metal trough.
You ever seen those challenges like the Cubs games where the guys get super intoxicated and like dive through the piss trough?
No.
Yeah, that's a thing that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, I gotta pass on that one. I already dream about piss enough. I don't need to see it in my real life. It's not great.
We have a piss trough at our baseball stadium, and I'm like, wasn't this built in like the 2000s? Like, isn't this old technology?
Seemed like you would have something new. Yeah.
I understand a piss trough at Wrigley Field, I get, but here, like, why?
It's a social experiment to see who gets stage fright and who doesn't. There's cameras everywhere.
So you can recreate hands around the world?
Hands.
Hey, you guys, let's cross streams like in Ghostbusters. You're not supposed to cross the streams. Let's see, what other dark one have we got left? That one was... We read that. Some of these ladies are creepy as fuck looking. Oh, this one's pretty good. I don't know if this one's a delusion either. Like I said, this is not from a scientific manual, so it's just, examples this person thinks. Christine and Leah Papin. Christine and Leah Papin were French sisters who worked as housemaids in the home of René Lancelin, his wife, Leonie, and their adult daughter, Genevieve.
Sounds like French.
I know. Because René, I thought was a chick, but it's the guy.
It's probably a dude, yeah.
It is a dude. The Papin sisters were the product of a dysfunctional and abusive home. Their father had raped their elder sister, and all three girls had been sent away as children to live with other families. Eventually, they went to orphanages and convents. Sharing a room together and socially isolated, the sisters were quiet and uncomplaining. When Christine was 27 and Leah, the more submissive sister, was 21, the women entered the psychological history books. Dun, dun, dun. During an argument with Leonie Lancelin, remember that's the wife, Christine suddenly changed from a well-behaved cook to a murderous monster. She gouged out Genevieve's Lancelin's eyes with her bare hands. Joining in, Leah followed suit with Madame Lancelin. The pair savagely murdered the mother and daughter, exposing their bodies in a way that indicated a sexual element to the crime. And when René Lancelin returned home with his son-in-law, he called the police because he was locked out of the house. The police found the ladies of the house dismembered all over the floor. Fearing that the same fate had befallen the maids, the officers were shocked to find the sisters locked in the room, by some accounts, naked in bed together. Yes. The sisters confessed and were taken into custody. In the years that followed, the sisters were separated and studied. The separation caused Christine especially intense distress, When the women were allowed to meet, it was indicated that they were in a sexual relationship together. Despite the popular opinion that this was the case, a sexual relationship was never proven and was denied by their own doctors. Their defense attorney suggested that their personalities had become so enmeshed that the personality of the submissive sister, Leah, had ceased to exist, and they both shared the paranoid delusions associated with Folie à Deux. But what's the delusion?
That's another one.
Give us the delusion. What is the issue? What is the problem?
Sound like more like a really bad case of
Eat the rich?
yeah, a little
They got money, we don't. Let's gouge out their eyes.
manic depressive disorder.
Probably sounds like fuck. It was a situation of fuck around and find out.
It could have been.
Yeah.
To me, that feels like a lot of building because you don't just like go straight Mortal Kombat out of nowhere and rip someone's eyes out without like some kind of prior torment or like
consistent abuse.
Pushing down of the rage.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you think about it, let's say me and my older brother were close and we were both working for some douchebag and we'd had that, the end of it was just out of control how assholey they were. And then one day you just snap and my brother goes after one of them. I'm most likely going to go after the other one.
Right.
So what's the delusion there? I don't think there's a delusion there. Clearly, I have a better grip on Folie à Deux than this person who wrote this. They're fun stories.
But a case of going postal sounds like to me.
Yeah. You got to tell us what the delusion was. What delusion did they have? What did they believe was actually going on that led them to share this delusional disorder? I guess we're going to have more in-depth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delve into some scientific articles about it, and we'll talk about those. Because if you really think about it, when you talk about stuff like murdering couples, that one you can kind of look and see if there's like a Folie à Deux there. But again, I don't think it's really a delusional disorder because if you take something like Bonnie and Clyde, I wouldn't call that a shared delusional disorders. I just think they were two we're badasses and we're going to do whatever the fuck we want.
They were making money hand over fist in that case. I mean, that's what fueled them.
And they were in love and and they had the press, they had enough press where they're like, we're famous. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want.
Right. And I mean, they also existed during a time where that type of activity was almost romanticized in a way. So that kept them going as well.
And poor Bonnie, she was all fucked up. Walk with a limp, she did. Didn't she get like a 3rd-degree burn or something like that?
Yeah, she took some damage.
Yeah, she was all jacked up by the end.
I'm sure she took some stray lead too.
Probably. Yeah. Exciting though. But again, not a delusional disorder in my opinion.
I would say
two psychopaths
case
that found each other.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say Fred and Mary West, but that's almost like the same thing too. I think they were just two really fucked up individuals that happened to find each other. I think there's there's something innate in like those types of personalities where they can sense each other and like seek each other out.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like they smell it.
Yeah, it's like the last podcast guys talk about that all the time. It's like the chances of these two types of people meeting at the same place at the same time, it's like there has to be something to where they just knew. Like, I know you're as sick as I am,
Yeah, it wasn't like, what's his name? What the fuck's his name? Who Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole knew each other.
Yeah.
And traveled all over the place together. And you're like, how do these two fuckers meet?
Or like the guys that did the Green River killings.
Yeah.
The chances of them having the same MOO for murder is astronomical.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy. Have you read The Sandman, the comic?
No, I have not.
In The Sandman, there's the guy who's the main, the creepiest dude who escapes the realm of dreams. He has these eyes that are like little teeth. Mm-hmm. He's wears sunglasses and he's just a serial killer. That's his gig. But they have a serial killer convention, and only people who are serial killers know about it. And they go to this convention every however often. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what if there is something that fucking sick out there?
I mean, look at the world we live in now. I mean, who knows? I wouldn't put it past possibility.
That's how you network. They've got a LinkedIn profile.
Right.
They got some secret kind of LinkedIn profile.
It's like they all meet on Wisdom.
Have you used wisdom at all?
Not since I met you there, no.
I haven't used it forever. I was like, every once in a while, I'm like, maybe I should pop on there and see if I can make any connections. I'm like, nah, I can't. I don't even know if it's still going on. All right.
Yeah, I have no idea. Last time I checked into it, the format was completely different. So
Last time I looked at it, it was a really long time ago, and it was like all a bunch of religious stuff on there, and
yeah,
like
a lot
Kenny
of,
G was on there, and I was like, what?
a lot of like crystal people on the wisdom map. Yeah,
telling you about how like you can make your life better if you just positive thinking. I'm like, oh, this is not my thing.
right.
The power of positive thinking can change your life. I'm like, yeah, I really don't think it can.
I mean,
don't think so.
I believe in the powers of positive mental attitude, PMA, but not enough to go on there and preach about it to other people that, you know, probably have other more serious issues going on
For shiz.
and don't want to hear about, you know, just think positive. It'll get better.
Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Mike Cateo, who's not feeling well tonight, the Nemo. But congrats, he got into another satellite for the World Series of Comedy in Indiana, I think.
Awesome.
So he's got 2 satellite opportunities, one in Las Vegas, one in, I believe it's Indiana. The Beaveman.
Shout out Nemo.
The Beaveman has not been selected.
I hope you feel better from those butt crabs.
Yeah, I know. Butt crabs are the worst. How does one get rid of butt crabs?
I've never had butt crabs. I couldn't tell you.
I feel like there's some sort of tweezing that you have to do.
I feel like there's a lot of pinching going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of pinching, and then to be their arch nemesis, you must also pinch them. You have to hike your ass up in the air, and someone that you trust with tweezers has to tweeze them off your booty hole.
I wonder if there's a shampoo or something for that.
I mean, there probably is, but the tweezers would be so much more satisfying.
Right?
Yeah.
Just listening to them pop between your fingers.
Exactly. Between the tweezing. And sometimes you can light them on fire and make them pop just like ticks.
Nice.
All right, then. Well, I think that we've had plenty of fun today. And I think I'm going to research Folie Deux more, because this person who did the Folie Deux truly does not know what Folie Deux is. I'm going to have to dig out actual scientific articles. I'm going to have to go to science. I was trying to play it cool with pop culture, but the pop culture did not even really tell us what kind of delusions these people were experiencing.
It let us down.
Although I do kind of want to read about some of these sickos, though.
I mean, overall interesting cases in themselves, but
yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't necessarily classify them as what we're talking about.
No. It's going to have to be Folie Deux Part 2. See what I did there? See what I did there?
Part 2.
You see what I did there?
It's good. That's good.
Thank you. I'm a professional podcaster. All right, then. You got anything to promote? Of course not. You got anything to promote there, JD?
Buy some Girl Scout cookies.
Ah, yes, the Girl Scout cookies. I was not hit up for Girl Scout cookies this year. No one hit me up.
I can rectify that.
Okay. Excellent, then. I will buy them to support the cause. Even though they
don't just buy them for me. If you're out there listening, if you're out there watching, if you have a local Girl Scout troop, by all means support any of the Girl Scouts in your local area. It all goes to great causes.
That's a lie.
For us specifically, it goes to providing experiences to some of the girls that come from less fortunate backgrounds to give them experiences they otherwise wouldn't get. So I know, the Girl Scouts as a whole is a great organization, and support them at any turn that you can.
Lies. They only get 15 cents for every box of cookies. Lies. They have the same deal from 1910. It's terrible. They need to negotiate a better deal. Look, Girl Scouts, negotiate a better deal.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast by the Beaveman
are the views and opinions held by all, because it is his nation. There you go.
And they absolutely reflect the views and opinions of this network. Exactly.
It's my motherfucking network. Let's see. What do I have to promote? Let's see. We got shows coming, but this will be coming out after that show. So next show that we have is going to be at the Dormouse Theater on Friday, February 28th. show starts at 8:30. Doors open at 8. It is a fuck winner showcase comedy show. Yeah. They would not let me put fuck on the flyer. They're like, oh, let's make it the winner sucks showcase. And I said, let's make it the fuck winner showcase. My original idea was fuck the police. And they said no. I was like, oh, well.
Yeah. I feel like I already did that.
Yeah, but I feel like I would have got a lot of people for that one. Or it was going to be like no police allowed comedy show. That probably would have also worked. Where's that coming from?
Good question.
Apparently there's something excitable going on out there.
Oh. That's at yours, JD?
Yeah, that's my house.
Oh, it's at your house. You're like, fuck yeah. I thought it was gonna be really cool. I thought somebody was fucking in the room next to the Ricker. Occasionally I hear that. Occasionally
It wouldn't be the first time.
Occasionally I hear that when I'm at a hotel and I'm like, go on, get it. Go on, get it. And my wife's like, shut up. I'm like, doesn't it make you horny? And she's like, fuck no, that's gross. I'm like, okay, it doesn't make me horny either.
It totally doesn't make me either.
I don't like to hear
I'm not a deviant, honest.
I don't like to hear other people having sex. It's gross.
Right? Not me.
It's not appropriate. And it's also not appropriate for me to applaud.
I think what you're hearing there is just the natural sounds of the ambience of the trailer park there.
Ah, I see. All right. Tell him to put the dick down. Put the dick down. All right. That's a reference to our good buddy Dev. She took it serious. She put the dick down. All right. I'll send you guys that clip. It's funny. All right. Well, that's it for me then. I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us. This podcast will be out on Sunday. So if you join us for the stream, thanks for joining us for the stream. We don't have any regular time for doing that because that's how we do it. We're like, we don't schedule stuff because we coo. I mean, all right. Adios, mooch fuckos. One of you two goes next. Rick, you would go next, and then JD would close it out. This is how it goes.
See you later.
Lame.
Sorry, I had a situation and it kind of threw me for a loop.
That's fair. All right, listeners.
This is a situation there.
This is the trailer park monster himself, JD Hutchins. And remember, the only real monsters in this world are human.